record on. Yes, starting. We do have someone that just joined as Circ1. If you can go ahead and let me know who that is, I'll change the name so we know who is with us. But yes, we are thrilled to kind of share with you today our teams, and that's going to be Valerie. She's been with us for just a little over a year now, and we have really been so excited to have her with us. She has learned a lot of things very quickly and continues to teach all of the staff every day on new things that she discovers and finds out. So she has been a wonderful asset to Dave. I know that for sure. And I know that George is just thrilled that we have her on board. So we're going to let her go ahead and share. She'll share her screen. And if at any time you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll go ahead and answer those or let her know what they are. Or you can just simply unmute. You know, maybe not in the middle of something she's asking, but wait till she's kind of takes a little break, and then she will ask for any questions at the end as well. But we want everyone to get as much as they can out of today's workshop. So anyway, I'm going to let you take it away, Valerie.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to get my
and then I had to like do my audio because it wasn't automatically on.
I have everyone muted, that's all. I'll take care of that part.
Okay. Alrighty, so this is Teams. Right now I have it on our calendar, but before you get into this area here, well, maybe not. You have to click on your teams to see which teams you have available. And right now, everybody has member libraries here. You're just going to click on it and it will open. We have a bunch of different channels, like the general for general questions, and they're pretty self-explanatory on there. But if you need certain information, feel free to go to any of these and ask for help, or there might be stuff already posted in there. It depends on the day and really what you're looking for. Also here we have the chat, which you can one-on-one chat with anybody in your contacts. We also are able to add additional people and options, so you can add Excel in there. So if you have a frequently used Excel document, you can just put it in there and have it linked, so you just are able to click on it automatically, similar to how like in Teams you can do this with the website option. So for us, we have the website thing and we have our calendar linked in there. So it just automatically shows up with all our good stuff we got there. And everybody is able to stay pretty on top of things and whatnot. But back in the chat, you can add additional people here. So let's say, I don't know, Erin. If I wanted to add Erin, just click on her and it'll add her to the chat, so you can have a chat with multiple people instead of having to do like a chain email or something like that. And as of right now, I've heard from a lot of people that they like the chat option much better than email because it's quicker and more relaxed and not so formal.
Yeah, you might want to click on the members one so they're seeing what they see, because this is our personal one. So we might want to show them
this is just my chat.
Yeah.
I think it should just be my chat. I'm trying to show them that
Yeah.
they can have
Okay.
the chat too.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. This is the one we have currently. There's not a whole lot in it outside of the hoopla which has our 2021 stats and all of our stats from 2022 in there also. Sunflower has the same stuff, the 2021, and all the past stuff and the stuff from 2022. If you're wanting to add a website or something in the link here, you go up to this, click on website, whatever you want to name the tab, you can call it whatever. I'm just going to keep it at website, and then you just paste in your URL where you want it to automatically pop up, and then after that you'll click save and it will just be there then. But there's a lot of options here. If you are having your own, it's really easy to add a channel. You just click on the three dots, come down to add channel, you name it, you can do a description if you would like, and you can have it be a private one and select who you want in there if you want, or you can do standard, which lets everybody in your team have access to that. Let's see. When you have a conversation, it usually just does automatically just a regular little message. But if you're wanting to type out multiple things, you can click on this button and it will give you formatting where you can do a heading and do multiple lines of text. So like, click enter and do more. In the regular text, if you hit enter, it will send your message. So if you happen to do that on accident, you can always edit your message by clicking on these three dots. I'll just type this for now. There's these three dots, and you are able to delete your message and edit it, which then you can do whatever you need to do to change that. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that one because it's kind of just nothing important. There's also, you can add attachments, which you can do pictures and any kind of file, so like an Excel document, Word document, anything pretty much, and it'll just attach it right there to your message. There's also emojis. Those are fun. But there's a lot to choose from if you want to keep things, you know, casual or whatever. There's also stickers, which also can add, you know, just some fun to things, I guess. And there's a bunch of other options here. We have a poll option, but haven't really got into using that one yet. But you can create a poll and everybody can submit their responses right there if you want. Then there's YouTube, which I believe you can just link a YouTube video right in there. So there are those. If you're interested in doing a video chat, you can go ahead and do that here by clicking Meet Now or Schedule a Meeting, which will then, it's like Zoom basically, and will show up all fun and stuff.
There we go.
Okay. There's also a phone app for this, which makes it very convenient if you're out of the office, similar to how Outlook has an app. This one does, and you can just answer anything anywhere really quickly and have your notifications on, and you get it right then and there. So there is that. Let's see. There's not a whole lot else to it because it's very simple. If you want to have notes, you can have your own notes here and able to access those from your phone if you would like to have the app on your phone. And store all your files that you have and the ones that you have recently used, that are connected to your OneDrive or SharePoint. The assignments button here, we just kind of ignore that because it has nothing to do with us. It's more for like the school setting for teachers and stuff.
Valerie, we do have a question from Melanie. She said, so I am assuming that these items can be used on all the links under member libraries. You'd put it under the link you are working in.
I guess I don't really get that.
Melanie, you can unmute and then
Yeah.
maybe, clarify.
Well, you stayed under Sunflower eLibrary. So Dave doesn't want us to put YouTubes and all kinds of things under Sunflower eLibrary. But if you were working on a story walk, or if you were working on something for a general or some information that you're working with, you would want to put it under that section. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood.
Yep. And if there isn't a section for it, we can always just go with general.
Okay.
Because that one's pretty, diverse area. But right now we don't have a whole lot of stuff in all these just because we haven't really gotten everybody into using Teams yet. And so we're still kind of working through email, but we will start putting stuff all in these instead of email. So
Right. Yeah, and I was just going to add too, Valerie, that sometimes you just have to open that up. So Valerie and I have talked about this, that it's probably a good idea. Sometimes we think that it's, showing up, and we've even done it amongst ourselves where we were like, oh yeah, you sent me a message, I didn't get it. And then we go to like activity. So that's usually the best button to click on, is because then you can see, that you didn't miss the latest thing that, might have popped up on there. But I have started using this to correspond with all of you. So if you are like, I never heard from Mary, or I didn't hear from Valerie, or I didn't hear from someone, go ahead and check this, because this is what this meeting is about, is that we really want this to be utilized. It's a great tool, and sometimes emails get, missed or overlooked. So at least this is a direct link, so that we know it stays there and you can always check it.
Bonnie, for your question, if I put something on the calendar, am I the only one who sees that, or does everyone in the team see it? There are two options for a calendar. I can't remember exactly where ours is. So if you are using this calendar, this one is like your personal calendar. If you are wanting one for, let's say, this channel, if you want one for just your library, I recommend making your own team and then creating a calendar for that. So like I made one for Pioneer at one point in time, and I just linked it up there. And so theirs is completely different than what mine looks like, because it is just theirs. Oh, that's because I'm logged into my account, but theirs should look totally different. And so if you're interested in just looking for like your calendar, definitely go here. There, I think, are different views. The whole week if you want it. The day, it's not really a monthly view, which I'm not a fan of, so I don't use it that often. But I really like the online version of the calendar. It's just all that calendar I showed you is. It's just online. If you're interested in having your notifications turned on for all of the channels and everything, because it only limits you to have 10 channels, get notifications at first, unless you manually go through and add more. And to do this, you come here and I got it. We'll go over here. This is where you do each channel and you make sure your all activity is got this little check mark here. Because if it's custom, it usually only does notifications if somebody like @s your name, so tags you. Think nope. Okay, so that part there won't work for that. But there is, you just gotta, there are also hidden channels. So if you don't see all the channels that I have here, it'll say like in italics, oh, there are 3 hidden channels. So all you have to do is click on that. Let's say this one, and then these 3 buttons. Then there's a drop down that says show channel. And so then it will always show up like these ones do versus the hidden channel. Because it'll only show automatically 10. And then after 10, it like hides them. It's like, we don't want to, overload everybody's area over here. So that's pretty about it. Is there any questions right now? And if you need to talk, you can unmute. That's all right too.
It kind of is one of those things that the more you play with it, the more like you'll get used to it. It isn't really as difficult as it seems at first. It's just new. So it's like anything else, the more you play with it, and you're always able to ask us a question. And if you can't do it on Teams, then send us an email, but we'll be happy to help you. I know that Valerie is happy to go out and help as well, answer any questions via phone, via, whatever avenue that we can to get everyone feeling comfortable about it. So.
Yep. I know I've had some of you guys here utilizing the chat and stuff with me, which is so much faster than email, because you would believe how many emails we get throughout the day, just random stuff. So this keeps it pretty focused on actual librarians and whatnot. So does anybody like feel uncomfortable still on anything here, or? Are we good?
Valerie, this is Karen, and I had a question about the calendar. You say it's only week by week. There's not a month.
In this one, yeah, on this one here, it just shows your personal calendar in a weekly view. You can either do like the work week, which is Monday through Friday, week or day. But if you want to view your calendar in a channel here, it's best to do like what we did and just add like your calendar up here. And then you will have it here. It'll just show up your calendar and not everybody else's.
Right. And then it'll be monthly then. That's what I do, Karen, is that I have my own. So I just imported it there, and it is pretty easy to do.
Okay, so you just go to Teams. Is that right?
Yeah, I can help you. If you have a team already made up for yours, if it's in the member libraries, you probably don't want your calendar in here.
No.
So
well, I'm not sure. We use a Google Calendar.
Right. And
now,
so yep.
And you could totally add that in here by just, I think getting the URL of your calendar and just going here and then pasting it there.
Okay.
That should always open your calendar.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can help you do that too, Karen, because I've done it. So I know that it's doable. So
okay.
I'll
try it,
in
and if
there
I can't,
as well.
I'll call you or I'll get
it's
hold of
nice.
you.
Yeah. But we really love the calendar being just right there because it's very convenient. But other than that, like, hey, I like how they've been helping me utilize the newsletter channel. So That way we can get our newsletter going again and have everybody in there if they want it.
Yeah, it does take practice and kind of looking. But Valerie and I have said that sometimes, when you are on it, and you have to sort of make sure that when you see up at the top where you can see her VG, sometimes it will say, like right now, mine shows that I'm offline because it knows that I was in a meeting. So it does that automatically for me. I don't have to go in there and say I'm not available. It does it for me. So Valerie, yeah, thanks, Valerie, because I was like, sometimes it looks like the person isn't available or whatever, but yeah. And then you'll also see a little purple box if you happen to be on your computer that will pop up if someone is, down in the, where your date and time is on your desktop, it'll sort of say. But if you don't see that, then you really do need to check the activity, because once that's gone, then it's like, okay. But yeah, it's just taking kind of get used to it, but.
Yep. And even if it says busy or do not disturb, go ahead and send a message,
Right.
because
It could just
it
be
ain't gonna
right.
hurt nothing.
Yep.
So they'll just get to it when they get to it. It's not
That's
gonna
right. We'll see
cause
it.
any major damage or anything.
No.
So, yep. But other than that, it's really easy, and there are other apps that you can add in to your teams if you have one made up or if you're looking into one. They just got all kinds of options, like tasks by planner to do, or forms. We use forms quite a bit now, or we're trying to.
Right.
But there's all kinds of things that you can add in and make it.
Valerie and Mary, I've been looking at our PML's teams. I've smallified the Zoom and looked at it. Why in the world under PML staff on my screen, for me, it shows that I have tons of files that are saved under Teams. And I know it says files, but I've never put them there. So why are they going to Teams?
I think the files are actually your OneDrive. They're not necessarily like, do they show up here?
Yes, they're just they're talking about.
Melanie?
Yeah.
Do they show up here, or do they show up like on this part?
They show up under files, under a purple file. And it says files under PML when I have mine open. PML staff.
Yeah. So I'm in your teams now, and these are the only files that are connected to the actual like general channel.
Okay, so that's just my personal one then.
Yeah.
Is that what it's
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
So whatever's showing up over here in your files is just all your stuff.
I mean, it's under files, and it's my OneDrive. So OneDrive is showing up under Teams then.
Yes, it's connecting to make it easy to share from your OneDrive if you wanted to.
If you want to,
into
but it's
Teams.
private until you have to send a link to it. So even though you can see it, no one else can. I can't see Valerie. She can't see mine. So.
Well, I just have all this storage.
Yeah,
everywhere.
no, it's a very
up in the
valid
cloud,
question.
And then at the bottom, it says add cloud storage. Well, why do I need to add cloud storage if it's already up in the cloud? I don't get it. That's
Yeah.
okay. Thank
I'd
you.
have to actually see it to help you with that one. But yeah.
Are there any other questions? I mean, we're happy. We've got a few minutes. We do have Andy joining us, but he's already on. But we kind of want to make sure that everyone's ready before we go to the next portion of this workshop. So we don't want anyone struggling or not sure what's going on. No question is a silly one. We've all been through it. So we've asked Valerie a lot of things too.
This is Bonnie, and I do have one question.
Good.
If
Thanks,
we are
Bonnie.
to create our own team for our library, what do we choose to put that under? Does it matter? Because I went and I looked at it, and it gives me 4 options. Like one is administrator, one is other. Do you know what I'm talking about, Valerie?
I think so, and I believe so. When you went to your, let me screen share one more time. Okay, and this one. Okay, so when you went to create one, did you come down to this area here? And is this what you're talking about? So you can
Yes.
create the team.
And see, it
then
gives you choices.
I think what we did was staff, but I mean, you probably don't need the class one, obviously, because it's not a class, but you can do other or staff probably would be the best options.
Okay, I just didn't know if there's different things that are available under them or what would be the best choice.
I think it just has different like policies in place, so you can only do certain things, and not really certain things, but they don't want you to post certain things. Like in a school, they want things moderated and whatnot. So I think if you do the administrative or other, it should be all good. But okay.
Okay, sorry, Valerie, I missed a little bit of that, but so if you're gonna create your own team, you would put it under other?
Yeah, you can do other or staff. Either one is fine.
Okay,
It
under
doesn't really
staff,
make
then do they see all of your files that you have on there then?
no, they shouldn't. So like, let's create a, we're just gonna call it team. And you can do a description or not. And generally you want it to be private, so that way when you do have it, you don't have just random people jumping in there, because
Okay.
you might want it to be only people you invite. So we're gonna keep this one private and go to next. And then you can add the people you want in your team. I'm gonna go ahead and put Mary in this one just because then I'm gonna delete it. But yeah, that's about all you really have to do, because then
Okay.
it will show up down here.
Perfect.
I'm in a bunch of them, so.
Right. And then I'll get a notification because I just did the little purple box down in the corner that said you've been added to a team. So don't freak out when it says.
Yes, and it will also send you an email just so you are
Right.
aware that you've been added to this.
Right. And
But-
I don't know, Valerie, I don't know if you want to share with them, because one of the problems that we had was that we weren't receiving all the notifications because there was under that, each of the little tabs under the settings, like the general, all of those. If you don't have it, yeah, right there. Thanks. I just
Yep.
thought of that. I'm like, well, there was another problem. So it's good that we've already tried to have been through a lot of the problems so that we can sort of share them with you.
Yeah, and you might want to just go through every channel, make sure that all activity is on so you don't miss anything. Because sometimes it does custom, which then just only sends when you're mentioned or tagged. But other than that, it should show up, hopefully.
And you would think that it would be like the default to be on all, but it wasn't, because all of mine were not. So I would receive some. I'm like, I didn't get any notification that were chatting with me or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do get an email as well, letting you know that you have a new message. And
Yes.
I know that some of our staff, we've also put it as an app on our iPhones, because then we can, get that as well. If we're away from the office, if we're out helping a library, wherever we might be, we'll see it as well. There's a message to all of us. So.
Yes, and if you want, there's one more place to get all your notifications to show up. The 3 dots up here by your initials. You just click on it and go to settings. Then notifications here. There is a way that you can have it email you if you haven't seen your notifications in Teams for a while. So like once a day, if there's been stuff in there, the next day it will send you an email to be like, hey, you need to look at Teams. And there's other options. So like I use the team built-in, but there are 2 that you could use. And I just show them previews and whatnot. You want to make sure this is set to all activity again. Just make sure it's all there. That way you'll get everything and stay in the loop, because most of the time when we created our channel or our team way back in the day, it was set to custom automatically. And so therefore everybody had to go through and change it from custom to all activity. But with the member libraries team, I believe I have it set for all activity, but again, who knows? So other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot left. You can add a private account, like a personal account if you want it. Not many people use Teams for personal, communication, because there's so many other options to use instead. But it's an option. And you can change your color theme and chat density and the layout. And they just make it different views. It's all the same stuff, just a different view. But other than that, I think it's about time for Andy if nobody else has any questions.
Thank you so much, Valerie. I
Yeah,
think
not a
that
problem.
you've done a great job. And like I said, she's our to-go-to person. So we kind of are like, we can't get this to work. We can't get this to work. So, but yes, we do have Andy, and I believe he is on. Yes. So I'll let him unmute himself and join us. But I did want to just introduce Andy. There he is. Andy Schafer has served as the digital collections librarian for the State Library of Kansas since 2018. And was that in June of 2018? There we go, since June. And he did get his degree from Emporia State University School of Library and Informational Management, our SLIM program here in the state. Andy is passionate about ensuring access to information for all, creating diverse and evolving collections that meet the ever-changing needs of their communities, and educating librarians and the public on how to access and use electronic resources. So he is our to-go-to guy today and any day. I know that you can send emails to you, Andy, and we're just so happy to have you here today so that our librarians can ask questions that they may not have asked yet, and for you to be able to share the resources that are out there. So Andy, I'm going to let you take it away.
That sounds great. Thanks, Mary. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can hear you fine. That sounds good.
Fantastic. It's telling me I can't screen share yet, so.
I'm going to change you to host, so hold on just 1 second.
Yeah,
We'll
of
get you
course.
added as our, yep.
Figured I
got
was
you.
just
Nope,
being
we've got you
impatient here.
as, yep, we're doing it now. So, yep, you should be all set to go.
Beautiful. There we go. Okay, you should be seeing my PowerPoint now. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I had advanced it too far. So there we go. All right. Well, thank you so much for the great introduction, Mary. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Give you a little rundown of what we're going to talk about today. First, we'll go over the Kansas Library e-cards, specifically how to issue e-cards and how they work. Then I'll tell you a bit about our databases, what you need to know about authentication, and how best to connect your patrons to those resources. Next, I'll demo a few of the most popular resources, the ones that I think you'll be most likely to use and recommend to your patrons. And I'll show you a couple tools from our website that will help you and your patrons get the most out of our resources. And finally, I'll just tell you about a few of the other databases that I don't have time to show you in depth, and then round it out, all out with time for questions. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you about is the Kansas Library e-card. Well, you don't need an e-card to access many of the resources available on our website. Digital books and remote access to the databases will require an e-card. If you work at a library in Kansas, you actually have administrative privileges to create, renew, and search all e-cards, not just those created by your library. And if you don't know your library's admin credentials, let me show you how to request those. So here is what our library homepage looks like, kslib.info. We're going to go to librarians and then scroll down here to Kansas Library eCard, admin login. And this is where you log in if you knew your credentials. But if you don't, just click on this link on the left-hand side that says need login information. There's a little form here you fill out. We do ask that you include your work email address, not a personal email. Just that way we can ensure that you are, that we should be sending you this information, that you do actually work for a library. You hit submit and we will send those credentials on over to you so that you can get logged in. And we also include a link to a short but thorough tutorial that's on our Niche Academy. You can also access that through the website where I was just showing you. Printable e-cards can also be found on our website. And we have a trifold brochure too that you can print off and give to patrons. I like that one the best just because it tells them everything that they've now gained access to. And it has an image of the library card on the front where you could write the patron's library card number for them. So the majority of our databases can be accessed from anywhere in Kansas without using a library card. Our website uses geolocation to check your IP address and verify that you're in Kansas. However, the digital books, with the exception of our kids' book platforms, all require an e-card. In addition to that, when geolocation doesn't work or you're out of state, things like that, then you can still access the databases by using your e-card to log into kslc.org. We've divided our databases into 3 main web pages based on audience. The main database page is for adults and general audiences. Then we've got 2 for kids. We've got Research for Kids, which is geared more toward elementary school students, and Student Research for middle school and high school students. The databases on the kids and students pages were specifically curated for those age groups with lots of input from school librarians. If patrons aren't authenticated via IP, like I said before, they'll need to log into kslc.org and it will actually send them there. If they try to click on a link that our system thinks they can't have access to, it's going to send them directly to this page. And once they log in, they'll see all those same links that we saw on the main database page. In addition, at the bottom of that page, they'll find links to Student Research and Research for Kids, just like on the main page. And the links there will work regardless of their IP now that they're logged in. If a patron forgets their Kansas Library e-card, there's a link on the login screen that sends them to a form that they can use to have their e-card number emailed to them. We respond to those during normal business hours, 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. As librarians, you should also know that the state library makes it easy to connect your patrons to our resources in whichever way you choose. We can provide you with direct links to put on your library's website and even configure authentication so that your users can gain access to these resources in the easiest way possible. For example, through your Easy Proxy server or by entering their local library card number. The other advantage to establishing this kind of setup is that in most cases, the vendor can also provide you with your library's individual database usage statistics. Simply email the state library at kslc@ks.gov to get that process started. The first resource that I want to showcase today is Encyclopedia Britannica. It's a great place to start when you've got a research project or a patron has a research project. It is, of course, an encyclopedia, so it's got the traditional articles that you're used to, as well as downloadable images, videos, web links, and teacher resources. We have several different levels of Britannica, ranging from elementary school to academic audiences. We also subscribe to 2 Spanish language versions, one for students, Escolar, and one for adults, Moderna. So now I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to show you a Britannica school. So you can see once we get to the Britannica school page, we can actually choose our level. I'm going to start on middle school. The home page has lots of ways in. So they've got kind of fun facts here at the top and at the bottom. Here in the middle, there are a few different entry points. We can browse articles, images and videos, or take a look at biographies. If we've got some sort of a project that requires us to research an individual, this biographies section is a really good place to start. Sometimes we'll have things that are in the news down here in the at a glance section. And then, like I say here at the bottom, more fun facts, a daily word, and it goes on. For the sake of this demo, I want to show you how the search works. So we're going to try a search here, and just like you're used to on Google, it's going to autocomplete and try to guess what we're looking for. It'll give us some different kinds of content, but if I want, I can just hit enter or view all results to display the search results page. You can see here we can also toggle to view the different kinds of content that are showing up in this search. Furthermore, in Britannica School, we can also change the reading level within the results page. So we can just get articles that are at the reading level that we need. At an even more granular level, we can also filter our search by lexile level. So if we just read within a certain range here, we can filter our search to adhere to that range. If we click on an article, I can show you a little more about how this works. Within an article, we can also change the reading level. So let's say I start reading this and it's a little too wordy for me. I can lower the reading level and make it fit my needs. Furthermore, if I find a word in here, let's jump to the level 3 and find, here's a word that maybe I don't know what that means. If I double click it, it's going to select it and pop up with the definition from Merriam-Webster's dictionary. It'll also show me what the word is in Spanish and provide a pronunciation. Here at the top, we also have some tools. We can email it or send it via a couple of different apps. We can favorite it if we've chosen to make a Britannica account. We can print it, view the citation in various formats. We can translate the article into over 100 languages. We can listen to the article read aloud, and we can change the font size. Moving on to another general research database, we're going to look at Explora. It's a multi-search database. It's another good place to start for any basic research project or question you might have. It's a discovery tool. So just like with Britannica, there are multiple levels of Explora geared toward different age groups and audiences. And depending on the version you use, these explorers search anywhere between 4 and 18 of the EBSCO databases. You can find specific information about what's behind each of those explorers on the librarian tab of our website. Oh, got ahead of myself there. I'm going to show you Explora Kids because The more adult public library version looks very similar to Academic Search Premier, which I'm going to demonstrate next. So I really want to showcase to you what Explorer Kids looks like. As you can see, we've got a landing page. These topics are a little less specific than you might like for the purposes of selecting a topic. So I really just like to jump right to the search. Again, I'll choose these same search parameters, and just so I can show you that it's going to pin a couple different kinds of articles here at the top. It's going to look for if we have any encyclopedia articles that are very close to my search terms, it's going to pin those to the top. So it's got the Funk and Wagnalls Encyclopedia, as well as the Salem Press Primary Encyclopedia. Those are pinned to the top. It's also going to show me any related images over here. And I can click here to find more. Let's say I actually want a more specific kind of article here. I'm looking for the history of barbecue. And maybe I started here because I just, I heard that this was a good place to start, but it's giving me some interesting articles here. I found a comic, but it's not directing me exactly to the history of barbecue like I was hoping it would. And maybe if I fiddled a little more, it would help me find that. But for the sake of this demonstration, instead, I'm going to jump over to Academic Source Premier and dig in a little deeper with that. So this is a more robust collection of research articles, provides access to more than 4,600 journals in total, many of those also being peer-reviewed. So I'll just use that same search term there. You can see that it's given me 3,600 articles. I can narrow my search just like I could on Explorer over here on the left-hand side. Let's say I just want full text, peer-reviewed articles, and I'm going to say only go as far back as 1990. Now this is a little more what I was looking for. If we click on one of those, it's going to take us right to the article, but what I'm interested in is narrowing to this subject term, because I want to find all the articles that have that subject term, not just have the word barbecue somewhere in them. So I want to find articles that are actually about barbecue. Let's see, I'm still not finding exactly what I'm looking for. So I'd like to show you how we can even add another search term. Let's say, since I'm looking for history, I'll just add history as another search term in there. Now I'm looking for barbecue cooking, and it has to have the word history somewhere. And it looks like this would be a perfect article for my needs. It discusses the history of barbecue cooking. So I'll just click on the title of the article there, and it immediately takes me to the HTML text version, if that's available. So this, one of the pros for this kind of article is that it lets me listen to the article. I don't remember if I shared my sound, but I could hear it talking there a little bit, and we can then change the reading speed as well, or just stop that altogether. In addition to that, within HTML text versions, we can also select text. We can take a look at a dictionary definition of different words within that text. And we can also translate it into multiple languages. Many of these articles are also available in PDF full text versions. These are going to be the original layout that they were presented in the original publication, often in print. So we'll see all the pictures and charts and graphs if those are part of it. Now you can see we can still select parts of it, but not in the same way that we could in the HTML view. On the right-hand side, there's some options here. We can save it to a Google Drive, print it, email it, save it to an EBSCO folder if we chose to create an account. We can take a look at the citation in lots of different formats. We can export the citation to multiple citation tools. And we can get a permalink that we could send to anyone else in Kansas, and they would just be able to click that link and go right to the article without having to locate the database link. Finally, we could also just straight up save the article to our computer. If we go back, I also want to show you that if we chose to, if we didn't find exactly what we were looking for, but it was pretty close, or we just want to keep a tab on what this kind of research, how it progresses over the year. If I hit search here, I can actually create email alerts to send me emails when new articles are added to this database that meet these criteria. I could also just send a permalink to these search results. There's another thing about permalinks and alerts that I want to show you. If I chose to click History Today, maybe I determined this is a really good journal, not just for this article. I can, if I chose to, hit Share over here again and create email alerts so that I can get emails every time there are new issues of this journal available. That does require an EBSCO account, but as long as you've authenticated to get into this database, you would be able to make that account. So I think I skipped a couple slides here. That's what I just showed you, was how to do journal alerts. Next up, I want to show you Heritage Quest. This is a powerful genealogical tool that allows users to search things like census records, as well as ship passenger lists and city directories. So I'm going to go to Heritage Quest here, and I know who I want to look for in the census records here. I'm going to go to the 1900 census records. And right here in the middle is where I'll enter my search terms. And if I chose to, I could say, I only want to look for exactly this name, not ones that sound like it or similar, or just share the initials. I can choose how broad or narrow I want my search to be from right here. I can choose, for the most part, which of these I complete. I think last name might be the only one that is absolutely required to complete a search, but then any of these others can just be completed at your discretion. If you know them, it might be good to enter them, especially if your ancestor or the person you're researching has a pretty common name. But you can see we can get pretty specific down here. In addition to that, if we don't know the name, we just kind of want to browse the collection. Over here, we can do that. But for this demonstration, I just want to search it. You can see here on the left side, we have the option again to broaden or narrow our search. So we could say here, we actually want to make it more broad. You can see we get 7 results right now, but if we make it more broad, maybe we'll get more. No, not in this case. But let's say I actually just want people who have the name Roscoe or a name that sounds like or is similar to Roscoe. You can see I got a couple there. I'm not sure how Delno sounds similar, but I'll just trust their trust their judgment there. And oh, there's the person I was looking for, Roscoe C. Arbuckle. If we hover over the pencil, it's going to say, oh, this guy is also known as Fatty Arbuckle. If I hover over view record, it's going to show me kind of a preview of that record. But if I click on it, it's going to show me the complete record transcribed from the handwritten census records. I can scroll down and look at the whole thing. I can also see other household members down here that I can also click on and view their line. If I click the image of the census record on the left-hand side here, it's going to take me to that. I can view it pretty big here in my window. I can zoom in to really take a close-up look. I can also look at the sidebar over here and kind of compare the transcription to the handwritten record. Sometimes, you know, this transcription isn't exactly correct, or there's some room for interpretation. So you can take a look at that, and you can also link to some of these others that are in this same household. I forgot to mention that the one in yellow is the record that you're currently looking at, that you're viewing the information about, and all the ones in green are the other people in that same household. And if we want here at the top, detail is the tab we were on. If we click related, it's going to show us other records that might be related to the same person we have in yellow there. And then the source just tells us more about this census document. The cool thing about these detail and related tabs is, excuse me, that I can click around within this record, and it's going to update this based on who I'm looking at. So if I wanted to look at the head of the household here, the father, I could see that, hope it looks like there's his grave, and I could click out to jump to a different record and find more information about that individual. I can also, if I want, choose to just save this page. I can either save it to my Heritage Quest account, or I can save it to this computer. Another cool thing about Heritage Quest is that they do have some research aids if you are just getting started on your genealogy search. They've got some good articles on how to do that and how to best use the resources that they provide access to. The next resource I want to tell you about is Learning Express Library. It features self-paced learning modules. It also includes test prep materials and job and career assistance. And its modules are separated into subject areas, which are called centers, and they are listed all here on this slide. I'll show you what this looks like. So here's Learning Express. No library card is required as long as you authenticate with IP, just clicking through on those links. Or obviously, if you're out of town or not able to authenticate that way, you can use your library card number and get in through the kslc.org access point. Now, in order to use Learning Express, however, you do have to register for an account. So we'll click register here and see since I authenticated, it knows that I'm from the State Library of Kansas. I don't have to provide any more proof. As you're completing this, just know that you can kind of skip the European Union question. It's going to be automatically selected to no, so you don't have to worry about that. But once we've registered, we'll be able to log in at any time. And the reason that they want you to log in is because that way they can save your progress. You can save your progress within tests, save your progress within tutorials. Really just that way, you can always come back to where you were at. You can see that as soon as I log in, it shows me where I'm at in a few different things. Anything that I've started but haven't completed, even tutorials that I have completed, it shows me tests I have completed. It kind of just gives me the full rundown of my progress. I want to show you that there are actually 4 different kinds of content available on Learning Express. There are tutorials, video tutorials, exams or tests, and ebooks. So to start with, I'm going to show you a tutorial over here in the Job and Career Accelerator. This is a tutorial about interviewing. You can see that it's a tutorial that's not video because it just has text on a screen. If we want, we can browse the contents of this tutorial and jump right to the section that we're interested in. Or if we want, back at the beginning, we can just start from the beginning and go section by section. When we choose to go somewhere else, it's going to ask us if we want to save our progress, and we can make that decision there. At this point, I'm going to close without saving. There are also video tutorials. Computer skills is a good one for videos, since that's the way a lot of people like to learn how to use software, is watching someone do it on their screen. I'm going to show you an Excel tutorial. You can see that it's a video tutorial because it has a play button on the screen on the icon. Now we can, of course, start our video right here from the beginning. We can also toggle closed captions on and off here and make the video full screen if we choose. Furthermore, what's really great is that you can view the full transcript down here and even search it if you like, or download it. So it's really user-friendly and accessible to lots of different kinds of learners. In the right-hand, upper right-hand corner, we can also choose the table of contents and jump right to a section that we're most interested in. Now, when we hit home, it's not even gonna give us the option to save because it automatically saves. If I hit my center and go back to tutorials, let's see, video, computer courses rather, it's gonna say, here's the one you were working on. And if I hit that, it's gonna take me right back where I was at alternating page zoom. It automatically saves our progress. Now the tests are kind of the thing that set Learning Express apart from all of our other databases. So I definitely want to show you what those look like. I like the civil service exams, so I'm going to select one of those postal worker exams. In this case, this is going to be a test for address checking. Once I hit start test, it's going to give me a lot of details about the test. It's going to tell me how it works, and what it's going to test me on. There are 3 test modes available on Learning Express for all the tests. There's simulation, which is as close to reality as possible. So the timer is strictly adhered to. Once your time is up, the test will go away and you'll see results. In the practice mode, you will, the timer will show, but it is not adhered to. So if you go over time, it's just going to let you keep working. Also in practice mode, once your test has been graded, it will also provide explanations for the correct answers. And in learner mode, you would actually go through, and as you are making selections, it's going to tell you the correct answer to each question. So that you can kind of study the test. So for this case, I'm just gonna practice, and we can see up here at the top that it has started the timer. I can go through and make some selections. I can also jump to a question if I like, or finish the test later and it will save my timer for me. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to hit score test. It's going to tell me, wow, you skipped a lot of questions. Are you sure that you want to do that? Because you can just click on any of these and jump right back to them. But I'm going to be stubborn and hit score so that it gives me my grade. I got a whopping 0. So it's going to tell me here also that I'm probably not ready to actually take this test. But since I did so poorly, it is also going to show me the next thing that I actually wanted to show you, which is the ebooks. So you can see here at the bottom, it looks like you need to develop your skills further. Here's an example of an ebook you might take a look at to do that. And when I click on that, it's just going to download a PDF to my computer and take me right to that. And then I can hopefully get better at the exam that I just did poorly on. There are some additional highlights that I want to tell you about over here on Learning Express. So most of the things that I've focused on are resources for adults. But there's also 2 centers that are for kids. They used to have a school center, but this last fall they separated it out into grades 4 through 8 educator resources and high school students. In addition to that, they've got college student section and student success skills sections. Those have not only subject-specific resources, but also kind of general study and skills for succeeding in class and in completing homework. 2 other really excellent, actually 3 other excellent centers are the Adult Core Skills Center. So this is kind of helps you with math skills, becoming a better reader, and improving your grammar. Recursos para Hispanohablantes is the section for Spanish speakers. And then up here in the High School Equivalency Center section, we've got the GED test in English and Spanish, as well as a couple of other high school equivalency tests, and sections that will help you prepare to take those tests, not just practice the test itself. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the ACT, SAT, and PSAT are also available on Learning Express. Now for a resource that I'm really excited to tell you about because it's one of my favorites, Novelist. Novelist is a librarian's best friend, especially for Reader's Advisory. It is mostly used for read-alikes and finding books that are similar to one another. I'm just going to jump right in and show you what this looks like in case you haven't used it before. You can see on the home screen, we can browse over here on the left-hand side. We can see some books that might be popular right now or just featured by the curators of this site. We can also browse based on audience if we choose. But I'm just going to go ahead and search. I'm looking for Slaughterhouse 5. And you can see that it shows us a few books that might meet my needs, that might be the book that I was looking for. But we know right off the top that this is the one I'm looking for. If we wanted, we could click right to the read-alikes, whether we want books that are similar to this book or authors that are similar to Kurt Vonnegut. If I click on it, however, it's going to show me a lot of things about the book, a lot of details, including Lexile level. It's also going to give me a lot of reviews, or at least a couple of reviews of the book, and lists and articles about the book, just all kinds of information about this book. On the right-hand side, we can also see our read-alikes. Now, they only show the first few, I believe. And if we hit view all, it's going to show us not only the complete list, but it's also going to show us why they've listed it as a read-alike in this reason section. Here at the bottom of the screen, we can also, if we want to find books like Slaughterhouse-Five, but we're not satisfied with the read-alikes that they've selected here on the right-hand side, we can actually select which aspects of the book we are most interested in finding books that share those aspects. So let's say in this case, I'm looking for time travel books. If I hit search, it's going to show me a bunch of time travel books. And then on the left-hand side, I can further narrow my search to look for just adult time travel books. And maybe I only want books that were published in 1960 or later, let's say. I'm also only looking for fiction. I can then update the results. And if I choose, I can change how I sort them. It's got it sorted for relevance right now. So I think that means that it prioritizes where time travel is listed in there. But if I go by popularity, it's going to sort the entire list by which are most popular. So let's go back to Slaughterhouse-Five, though, and I want to show you what the author read-alike part looks like. So let's click on Kurt Vonnegut. And on the right-hand side, it's going to show me authors that read like Kurt Vonnegut. And again, we can click on those names and go right to their pages, or we can hit view all to see the reasoning behind those comparisons. And in addition to that, we could also search for, I'm going to go all the way back to the home page and start a search for a series that I can then find other series that are similar. In this case, Magic Treehouse. So then I can see here on the right-hand side, it's got some other series that are similar. Time Warp Trio, Recipe for Adventure, Tashi, and again, we can hit view all to see why they've compared them to the Magic Treehouse series. We can also browse the collection on Novelist by those different aspects. So let's say we don't actually know of a book that fits our needs yet, but we're looking for time travel. So let's go to themes. We look at some themes. We can actually start by genre. Browse themes by genre is probably the best way to go. So since I'm choosing time travel, probably sci-fi is going to be my best bet. And then, you know, time slip might actually be the closest to what we're looking for here. And then it'll show us a whole bunch of books that have that theme. This can be especially useful when you're putting together book displays. In addition to those, we can also go up here in the quick links section and find some articles, genre guides, page to screen, so the adaptations that are pretty popular, working with youth. And the one that I want to show you is book club resources. So it's going to show us what books are currently being used by or featured in some popular book clubs. It'll show us some options for, or some ideas about holding book club events, and some books that might fit fit your readers, your book club members' preferences. And then I would recommend that if you're looking for like actual discussion questions, hop on over to Freeding, because they have book club guides for many popular books over there. I also forgot to show you that I wanted to, I forgot that I wanted to show you that we can actually search by Lexile level as well. So let's say that I'm looking for Captain Underpants. I'm looking for books that are at a similar Lexile level. If I actually go right here and just click on the Lexile level for this book, oh, it's going to tell me about Lexile level. Let's see here. It's under advanced search. So let's say now I know Captain Underpants is at an 850. So I'm going to go down here to Lexile range and choose this 740 to 940. Or if we just wanted a specific score, we could do that as well. So then we just find books that are, oh, I think it went with the range actually. Next, I'm going to show you one of our website tools. This is the Journal Finder. It lets you search all of our databases at once to see if we have access to a certain journal. And if so, it'll give you a link to go directly to the journal within that database. So this is just a real quick one to show you. Let's say in this case, I want to look for Publishers Weekly. I could choose to browse down here, but I know what I'm looking for, so I'll just hit search. It's going to show me where that journal can be found, as well as if there are multiple results, it helps to look at this ISSN and the alternate titles just to make sure that the one we're looking at is the one that we were actually searching for in the first place. It also shows us the coverage for each of these databases. So you can see that this one has slightly more coverage for some reason. It goes back to the 1st of January in 1997. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that one. It's going to take me back to this journal page like we saw before, where we can then, browse through different issues if we like, and see just the articles that were available in that issue. Or if we choose, we can even search within that publication. So we can say, I'm looking for Captain Underpants again. Oh, if I can spell underpants, that is. Oh, I think I actually need to make it on a separate line here. There we go. And we've got a Q&A with Dave Pilkey. Just a bunch of reviews of these books. So that's Journal Finder. I think the last tool that I want to show you is our tutorials. So we've got tutorials that are always available on our website. On the right-hand side of any page, you'll see this green tab that says tutorials. Clicking that will open a drawer where you can find detailed tutorials on most of our databases and digital book platforms. So let me show you those real quick. Right here's the button, and then it pops up with a bunch of categories. We can also just choose all if we want and say, I'm looking for tumble books. And there's the one that we were looking for. If we choose, we can even make this full screen so that we can view the whole thing. Many of these have videos, and on the right-hand side is our table of contents. I want to pause to see if anybody has questions, because I could run through just a few more of our databases and tell you about those before I hop off today, but I want to make sure that we address any questions if people have those. Right. Well, these are ones that I don't have time to demonstrate, but I want you to know about. Infobase is like EBSCO. It's a provider of lots of databases. We got access, we subscribed to it just a few years ago, so it's relatively new. Issues and controversies here in the middle is the one that we are most excited about, or had the most excitement surrounding it, because it's a pro-con database. It has more than 700 topics, and kind of the coolest thing to me is that they are always adding topics, especially ones that are relevant to news topics, things that are going on in the world today. And there are more than 700 topics in total, as well as a bunch of debate videos. Then there's World News Digest that presents a snapshot of how issues have evolved over time, going all the way back to the 1940s. Then there's Ferguson's Career Guidance Center that provides assistance in finding and pursuing a career. Health Reference Center is a comprehensive reference source on health topics. World Almanac for Kids and World Almanac for Kids Elementary are powerful statistical reference resources available there at two different levels, one for elementary kids and one for more of a middle school audience. And then Bloom's Literature is similar to a literary reference center in that it includes author biographies, literary criticism, and lots of literary resources. But Bloom's also has an all-encompassing section on Shakespeare's works. So that's something to look at that includes everything that he wrote. Many of these resources also include excellent and extensive video collections. ProQuest is another of our vendors. They provide Heritage Quest for us. Another is Fold3. It's another genealogical database, but this one's focused on providing access to military records. US Newsstream provides up-to-date daily newspaper content, including from the New York Times, Washington Post, Chicago Tribune, and other big newspapers. What you do need to know about that is that it is text only. So as I showed you back on Academic Search Premier, it would be like that HTML text view, not the PDF version. So you wouldn't see the original layout and you wouldn't see the images, but you do get the daily updated text versions of all those newspaper articles. Then nursing and allied health and nursing videos are mostly used by nursing school instructors and students, but they are accessible to anyone, and we highly encourage people to use those. Universal Class is similar to Learning Express in that it's focused on teaching patrons specific skills. However, Universal Class actually allows patrons to access full-fledged online courses. They currently have over 500 to choose from on topics ranging from algebra to yoga. And while self-paced video courses are available, what's unique about Universal Class is that it allows you to take classes with a live instructor who gives assignments, exams, and ultimately grades. Users can also receive continuing education credits for completing these courses. And then finally, Mango Languages is, of course, our language learning program. It currently has courses in 71 different languages. as well as 21 courses that allow speakers of other languages to learn English. And that's what I've got for you today. So again, I'll open it up to questions if anybody has questions. I know we covered a lot here today, so.
Seems very comprehensive. Thank you so much, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I always love to promote our stuff, so
Yeah,
any
absolutely.
opportunity.
Do any of our librarians have any questions for Andy? Well, we've got him here. Well, feel free. Oh, I do. I don't have any questions, but
good.
thank you for the presentation. So that's
Oh,
great.
great. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
and keep my contact information. It's on our website as well, but if you do come up with anything, any way that we can help support you, especially in using our resources, we want to do that.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. And librarians, if you do have any questions, if you want to reach out to him yourself, that would be wonderful. If you have any questions about anything that was presented today, feel free to ask any of us. So we're just always happy to have you join us on these Zoom workshops. So thank you so much and have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Valerie.